I wanted to take a moment to reflect on the life and death of Jesse Jackson. I think that when an important figure like this dies, it's a good opportunity to reflect on progress. One of the things that really frustrated me in the aftermath of the George Floyd tragedy, murder, is that a lot of people said things like, things have never been worse. That's just like objectively wrong, and I understand the emotional place that it came from, but it's a stupid thing to say. Take the world that Jesse Jackson was born into, and take the world that he helped create. He saw progress personally, from his days organizing to, the aftermath of what happened at the Lorraine Motel, his run for president, which in a lot of ways was, at the time, probably rightly thought of as maybe a bit quixotic, but it sparked a movement and it created a sense of possibility. I remember when he ran, a lot of comedians, black comedians, made jokes about, how absolutely silly of an idea it was that a black person could be president. And look, those are funny jokes. Eddie Murphy's an amazing comedian. He had a whole bit about it. But 24 years later, it happened. And it doesn't happen without him. And so acknowledge that progress and acknowledge the work that he put into it, making that happen. The second thing I'd say is that it's also important to remember that there was this time when so many people in the media, the white media, if we're being honest, talked to him as like the black leader. He's the leader of black people, as if that was like an unofficial or official position. He was kind of the last person in America who had that title, right? It was always kind of something that people tried to confer on one black person or another, was, King or Du Bois or Washington or Garvey or whomever, Malcolm X. But there's never been a black leader in that sense. And I think it's good also that we've dropped that as a thing that people think about and talk about, because it wasn't really true even under King. There was much more complexity to it, and we've moved beyond that, and we understand, partly through the work that people like Jesse Jackson did, that the black community is large, has myriad interests. They occupy all points on the socioeconomic scale. They're geographically scattered. Some are successful, some are struggling. But it's also, if there's a nice thing about that, right? If there's an upside to this notion of black leader, it does at least make a nod toward the fact that there's an interconnectedness among the black community, even with disparate interests. So, and that's ultimately what their struggle was about. So rest in peace, Jesse Jackson, and take a moment to honor and respect the world that he helped create. There is no 2008, there's no Obama without Jesse Jackson.
America's not a blanket woven from one thread, one color, one cloth. When I was a child growing up in Greenville, South Carolina, and grandmama could not afford a blanket, she didn't complain and we did not freeze. Instead, she took pieces of old cloth, patches, wool, silk, gabardine, croquet sack, only patches, barely good enough to wipe off your shoes with. But they didn't stay that way very long. The sturdy hands and the strong cord, she sewed them together into a quilt, a thing of beauty and power and culture. Now, Democrats, we must build such a quilt. Farmers, you seek fair prices, and you're right, but you cannot stand alone. Your patch is not big enough. Workers, you fight for fair wages, you're right, but your patch labor is not big enough. Women, you seek comparable worth and pay equity, you're right, but your patch is not big enough. Women, mothers who seek Head Start and daycare and prenatal care on the front side of life, rather than jail care and welfare on the back side of life, you're right, but your patch is not big enough. Students, you seek scholarships. You're right, but your patch is not big enough. Blacks and Hispanics, when we fight for civil rights, we are right, but our patch is not big enough. Gays and lesbians, when you fight against discrimination and a cure for AIDS, you are right, but your patch is not big enough. Concept from your point of view, but your point of view is not enough. But don't despair. Be as wise as my grandmama. Pull the patches and the pieces together, bound by a common thread. When we form a great quilt of unity and common ground, we'll have the power to bring about health care and housing and jobs and education and hope to our nation. We the people can win.